So making waves, going the right way, but didn't start today too well. Event number 5, she managed to play a legend of the sport, the 10-time Women's World Champion Trina Gulliver, and she wasn't able to register a leg on that occasion. Does reputation matter for Chelsea Campbell when she's going up against somebody? If so, she may find it quite tricky here against Lorraine Winstanley.
Yeah, a Women's Series winner, of course, Lorraine Winstanley. Chelsea Campbell below par in that performance 43 in the opener, averaging 58 against Trina, but what can she deliver here? We've seen a number of promising
43
youngsters progress through to the last 16 already, including Paige Paulin, who's got the better of Robin Byrne, and Eleanor Cairns, who's whitewashed Angela Kirkwood.
24.
Bo Greaves also through to the last 16, looking to make up for an early exit from event number 1 of the weekend. A 4-0 success for her over Rebecca Barrow. 95.5 average 40 in that one.
Great opportunity this for Chelsea Campbell when you're just trying to make your way within the sport and you're trying to carve out a bit of a path, getting the opportunity to play someone who's been around as Lorraine Winstanley has within this sport on a streaming
100.
board in an event like this where playing for another last 16 spot. It's a great opportunity, and this will be the sort of thing that she's been relishing and looking forward to, and the sort of chances that ultimately she wanted to face.
Yeah, won't have been looking forward to facing visits like that.
But that's the thing, when you're playing someone like Lorraine Winstanley, visits like that become expected. It's not something you fear, it's not something you watch. It's, you expect her to hit 140s, you expect her to hit tons, you expect her to be sort of between anywhere in a 75 to an 85 in the average. So Chelsea's going to need to know she's got to step it up to live with Lorraine Winstanley, but there's been signs, certainly across this year, that she's capable of doing so.
85.
Not going to get to Dart to take the leg on this occasion. So it was a big ask. An impossible ask after that first dart.
9 scores.
And she'll be devastated to have only taken 9 off.
Well, she's going to be one of those players, I think, that's quite entertaining to watch. While Lorraine Winstanley was going, that I was just watching and seeing the many faces and the expressions of Chelsea Campbell.
97.
She's one of those players that, as she reaches an event like the World Match Play, they'll probably put a camera on her at all times.
Game shot.
At the 6th time of asking, Lorraine Winstanley does get over the line in the opening leg. I can promise you she did take it.
55.
Scoreboard just taking a little while to catch up.
Well, one thing we can see from event number 6, event number 5, we lost a lot of the big hitters, didn't we, really early, where this one, all the big names seem to be going through. Last 16 for Gemma Hayter, Fallon Sherrock, Bo Greaves. Them two will be playing each other coming up on the streaming board. Eleanor Cairns through, Lisa Ashton, Noah Lynn Van Leuven, Paige Paulin. All these sort of expected players, all the ones that you think are going to go on deep runs, all through to the last 16 stage.
55.
Yeah, and Paige Paulin with this run, doing her chances of
41.
maybe creeping into the women's match play a world of good.
$100.
What's your opinion on the women's series maybe being seeded at some stage? Do you think we're still a way off that? I'd say we're a couple of years at least. Would you agree?
75.
I think if it's going to happen, you've got to change the system. And I think if it was to happen, I would cap it at a 64-player tour. And the issue is, at the moment, it's a one-year revolving door, isn't it, the women's series? So at the start of every year, everyone starts on 0. So do you use the year before for the seedings, or? And that's where it gets tricky. And I think you'd almost have to have a similar sort of system
100.
to the Pro Tour, where it's 128 players with sort of tour cards.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to do that, but reduce it. Maybe go 64, maybe go 32, 48 potentially,
100.
and then have qualifying into that tour. I think that's the only way really you can do it. I don't think you can have seeding on a one-year basis. Not quite Martin Schindler
Yeah, I was going to say.
aspects of get out the way of the dart, but that's come down quite a bit.
Yeah. Ended up in his shoe, didn't it? For Shindy.
Good job he's not one of those people that walk on the last dart. He'd have took it in the knee.
$61.
Yeah, it's the second successive leg, unfortunately, where Chelsea Campbell has been on a big finish and just not been able to take a sizable chunk out of it, but it doesn't matter a great deal. It's Lorraine Winstanley managing to double her advantage there.
She is in a nice little mini section of the draw as well. Marie Fitton waiting in the last 16 for the winner of this one. The worst part is right down the bottom end. Greaves, Fallon, Sherrock. And then Gemma Hayter also in that little mini section.
32.
Well, I wouldn't be thrilled to be in the top part either, where you've got potentially Anastasia de Bromoslova, Noelin van Leuven, Lisa Ashton and Paige Paulin.
So this, what we're watching right now, is really the section of opportunity which, for Lorraine Winstanley, who, as we've said, been knocked out of those world match play places provisionally, could get back into there with a good run.
83.
But would need to get to the final. In this section, although it's nice up until sort of the semi-final, that's when then your Greaves, Fallon Sherrock, Gemma Hayter are coming to play.
62. $60.
I think there's one way you can describe Chelsea Campbell's game, or how she approaches the game, and it's just like a relaxed enjoyment of it, isn't it? You can tell this is someone that just really loves the sport.
Yeah, enjoyment, but you can see at the same time is still very much pushing herself to try and be the best version of herself, or bring out the best version of herself on the streaming
21.
board. Another bounce out in this one. It proves to be a pretty costly one for Lorraine Winstanley.
53.
And some of that comes down to opportunities that present themselves. We know it's not an easy sport to play in terms of the financials of it, the travelling, the planes, the hotels, the extra costs that come, the tournament entry fees. And she's someone who was sort of campaigning, shall we say, around the Christmas period, knew what she wanted to do, had a plan in mind, and now well supported. So great to see people in the local area sort of getting behind her and giving her the support she needs so she can be out here
48.
battling it out. And well, she's already sort of validated those opinions with those 2 last 16s.
$58.
This is a break opportunity, this, for Chelsea Campbell. Sets it up lovely. Nice last start, good pick off. Leaves her 3 darts in hand if she returns. Lorraine Winstanley got to be perfect. 2 trebles. Not going to go.
$82. Game shot.
Great adjustment there from Chelsea Campbell. And does break back. Reminder that after this game, we do have Fallon Sherrock taking on Bo Greaves in what could be a real belter of a battle. Fallon Sherrock looking to go one further than she did in the first event of the day. Runner up to
26.
Kirsty Vinnikainen, and Bo Greaves looking to make amends after an early exit.
You feel that's going to be the battle at the very top as well, don't you, in regards to women's serious darts?
100.
Who's going to be picking up that sort of Grand Slam position? Bo Greaves currently got a bit of a cushion on Fallon Sherrock, but that was et into in event number 5. Bo Greaves going out early, Fallon Sherrock reaching the final. So an opportunity here for Fallon to close that gap a little bit more, and it's in her own hands. She beats Bo Greaves, she'll be putting more money on her rankings and halting the progress of Bo. Fallon Sherrock is to go on and win the title. She will actually go into tomorrow's play as the #1 on the women's series.
140.
Then we'll finally have an order of merit that doesn't have Bo Greaves on top of it.
A rare, rare thing.
And there's quite a lot of ifs and buts to make that
43.
happen. Lorraine Winstanley really struggling a little bit in this one. A little bit lower than the standards we'd expect from Lorraine, and Chelsea Campbell taking full advantage of it here. An opportunity to get this one level.
$60. $83.
Oh, what a time to find here for Lorraine Winstanley when Chelsea Campbell maybe thought she had a bit of comfort. There is no comfort here in the last 32.
Pressure applied. And she has dragged that one.
41.
And that maximum from Lorraine Winstanley has presented her with this opportunity now.
Shot.
And she does break straight back. And as you can see, Chelsea Campbell almost doing squats in disappointment at the back of the booth. She realises that was an opportunity there to get back on level terms against, as you said, a Lorraine Winstanley who is nowhere near her best at the moment.
But how one visit can just change everything.
Yeah.
That was all about Chelsea Campbell. The maximum went in, it just flipped the leg completely, and
25.
Lorraine Winstanley breaks the throw. Is Chelsea Campbell maybe trying to answer that question, is darts a sport, by chucking some squats in there as well? Use the thigh muscles, burn some calories.
60.
It's a sport.
I think this will be more relief for Lorraine Winstanley as she has to get through this game, because she's not been at her best, and that sort of one clutch moment there could really have sort of turned the tide of this game.
Yeah, it was a 180, forced the mistake from Campbell, and Lorraine Winstanley
100.
swept in to tidy things up, and now just 137 points away from a place in the last 16.
57.
With time of which to complete the task.
Yes. 59.
Really needs to be a 140 here. But that's the bare minimum, because it gets Chelsea down to a finish. Lorraine will be thinking on the balance of play that she's going to get 6 starts to get the job done here. 20 for tops for a place in the last 16.
38.
She's not quite over the line yet, but as you said, she'll feel, given how this game has gone, there's a good chance she'll be returning, and she was right to think that way. More wayward darts from Campbell
32.
at the back end of a leg. So now with 3 in hand to get over the line, can she work her way in off that first dart? No is the emphatic answer.
20.
You don't need to know what Chelsea's thinking, because she'll always show you. An entertaining watch. Can she deliver on the 1-2-4? Treble 18. For a dart at the ball to break the throw of Lorraine Winstanley.
90.
And she's just dragged it wide of the target, and you do feel that that might be the last dart she gets to throw in action in Women's Series darts today.
It's not always been pretty, but Lorraine Winstanley does enough to win the contest and make it through to the last 16, getting the better of Chelsea Campbell by 4 legs to 1. Campbell certainly had her opportunities, but couldn't make the most of them.